everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we're going to learn how to create GoToWebinar meeting registrant on Cashfree payment. So I am an owner of a personality development coach, and using Cashfree, I collect the payments from the participants who are now going to attend the webinar that I'm hosting. I want that as soon as many of the participants, a new payment is going to be done using Cashfree and they're going to enroll themselves for the webinar that I'm hosting. I want to create that participant as a registrant in my GoToWebinar account. As with the help of GoToWebinar, I manage my sessions. And doing this manually is very time consuming. So what I've done is I've simply automated this entire process with the help of Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration software. And here in this automation, I'm going to build a connection between Cashfree payments and GoToWebinar with the help of it. So if you also want to learn about this amazing automation process step by step, for that let me take you to my screen. In this video, we're going to learn how to create GoToWebinar meeting registrant on Cashfree payment. So as a personality development coach, I regularly host webinars to share valuable insights. I use Cashfree to collect payments from my participants, and on the other hand, I use GoToWebinar to host these sessions. By automating the process of creating registrant in GoToWebinar, whenever a payment is going to be made by the participant using Cashfree, automatically they are going to be created as a registrant in my GoToWebinar account. With the help of this, I can save time and effort while ensuring all the participants receive immediate access to the webinar details. And I'm going to create this amazing automation between Cashfree and GoToWebinar with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign into our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign into my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the All Pabbly Apps window in front of you, in which you can see all the products that Pabbly provides, from which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on this Access Now button right here. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, click on this top right corner button right here that says Create Workflow. A dialog box is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the workflow name and for us to select a folder. So for the name of my workflow over here, I'm going to give it as Create GoToWebinar Meeting Registrant on Cashfree Payment. Okay, so this is the name that I want to give to my workflow. After that, over here, it is asking for us to select a folder. So on the left side of my screen, you can see I have created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, click on this drop down. These are the folders from which I'm going to select Cashfree Automations as the folder I want to save this workflow in. After giving the name to the workflow and selecting the folder, I'm going to click on this Create button in order to create a workflow. A workflow is created in the name of Create GoToWebinar Meeting Registrant on Cashfree Payment, and you can see there are two windows in front of you. One says Trigger, other says Action. So what is Trigger and Action? Trigger and Action are the two most important steps for automation process because our process depends on these two concepts. Over here, Trigger says when this happens and Action says do this. That means what is Action? Action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. We are going to set up our trigger step first. And for the trigger application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as Cashfree. As with the help of Cashfree, I'm collecting the payments from my participants who are registering for the webinar that I'm hosting. I want that as soon as by the participant, a new payment is going to be done using Cashfree, automatically over here the trigger should capture the response of that. And that is why for my trigger application, I'm going to select it as Cashfree. And for my trigger event, I'm going to select it as Payment Via Form. As in my Cashfree, I have created a payment form, and using this form, I'm collecting the payments. Okay. So after selecting the trigger application and the event, you can see that Pabbly Connect has provided us with a webhook URL. Now using this unique webhook URL, we are going to build a connection between Cashfree and Pabbly Connect by following the steps given here below in the help desk. So firstly, I'm going to copy this URL from here. After copying the URL, I'm going to log into my Cashfree account. So this is my Cashfree account, and you can see that I'm running my Cashfree account in the test mode. You can see right here, okay? In the similar manner that I'm going to tell you right now, you can connect your live Cashfree account to Pabbly Connect as well. So now to connect this account to Pabbly Connect, from this panel, you have to go to this developers option right here. After coming to developers, under payment gateway, it says webhooks, click on it. After coming to webhooks, away from this panel, go to payment form right here. After coming to payment form, click on this add webhook endpoint right here, and in this field, paste the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us. After that, click on test and add. As we're going to click on this button, as over here it says test as well, a test response is going to be forwarded to this webhook URL. So I'm going to click on this test and add right here. As I've clicked on test and add, if I'm going to go back to my workflow and scroll down, you can see the test response has been captured right here, okay? But I want the response of the payments done by my participants, so I'm going to recapture the response right here. And now to add this webhook URL, I'm going to click on this add button right here, okay? As I've done that, it says webhook added successfully. As now the webhook URL is added to my Cashfree account, I'm going to go back to my workflow. It is saying waiting for webhook response. So now to check whether Cashfree is successfully connected to Pabbly Connect or not, what we are going to do is we are going to do the test payment with the help of the form that we have created using Cashfree. And after doing the test payment, I'm going to check whether Pabbly Connect captures the response of the test payment being done or not. For doing the test payment, this is the link of the form. I'm going to copy it from here, and I'm going to open this link in a new tab right here. So this is the payment form that I've created using Cashfree, and now let's do the payment, okay? Over here, firstly, it is asking for the participant's name. So for the name of my participant, over here, I'm going to write it as Smart Customer. For the email over here, I'm going to write it as smart@pabblytudes.com. For the phone number over here, I'm going to write in a dummy mobile number right here. For the city over here, I'm going to write it as Indore. And for the state over here, I'm going to select over here as Madhya Pradesh. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on this Pay Securely button right here. As this is a test payment as well, I'm going to select the method of payment as card. This is a test card. I'm going to use it right here. For the card holder name over here, I'm going to write it as Smart Customer. I'm going to click on Proceed to Pay right here. After that, over here, it is asking for the OTP. So I'm going to enter a dummy OTP right here. As I've done that, you can see over here it says payment successful. As now the payment is done successfully using Cashfree, I'm going to open my workflow and scroll down. And yes, you can see right over here, Pabbly Connect has captured the response of the test payment being done. This is the event date and time you can see right here. This is the transaction ID. This is the order ID. Status comes as paid. Amount is 1499. This is the phone number, name as Smart Customer, state as Madhya Pradesh, city as Indore. This is the email smart@pabblytudes.com. This is the form name you can see right away with the help of which we have done the payment, and this is the form ID, currency as INR. As the response of the payment has been captured in our trigger, this means that Cashfree has now been successfully connected to Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is done. Now in my Cashfree account, I have created multiple payment forms. And what is going to happen is that I have selected my trigger event as payment via form. So as I've created all these multiple forms in my Cashfree account, the response of the payments done with all these forms is going to be captured in our trigger. But over here, I want to create a registrant in my GoToWebinar account whenever a payment for this specific form that I've created in my Cashfree is going to be done. Now, in order to do that, we have to add another action step. And for the action application, I'm going to select it as Filter by Pabbly. As with the help of Filter by Pabbly, we can filter out the values in this workflow according to our requirement, okay? And for the action event over here, I'm going to select it as Filter Values. Then I'm going to click on this Connect button. It is asking for us to select the label. For the label over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the label as the form ID. As the form ID for each and every form that I've created in my Cashfree account is going to be different from each other. So I'm going to select the select label over here as form ID. Should be equal to, for the value, I'm going to enter the same ID that I've received in my response right here. So this is the same form ID you can see right here, okay? Now, whenever the form ID that will be captured in our previous response is going to be equal to this value, then only this workflow is going to be executed further, okay? So I've clicked on Save and Send Test Request, and as the form ID is equal to this value right over here, the status comes as success and the condition comes as true, okay? As now the filter is added, as now we have received the payment from our participant, I want to create the same participant as a registrant in my GoToWebinar meeting. So now we're going to set up our action step right here. I'm going to add another action step to this workflow right here. And for the action application over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it as GoToWebinar. And for the action event as create registrant, then I'm going to click on this connect button. A window is going to appear in front of you, on which click on add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection that you have. After that, over here it is asking for the webinar that we are hosting. It's asking for the from time and the to time. Okay, we have to enter both of the time in a UTC format in this given format right here. And the time that we are providing should be from the UTC format as well. Firstly, I'm going to open the webinar that I'm hosting. So this is the webinar that I've created in my GoToWebinar account, and I'm hosting this webinar right here on the date 1st February 2025 from the time as 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. that is Indian Standard Time. Now over here we have to enter the date and time in a UTC format in the given format right here, and the time that we are going to provide in this format should also be in a UTC time zone format. So now in order to convert the Indian Standard Time to UTC time zone format, I'm going to search over here for IST to UTC. Okay, you can select any of the websites from here. I'm going to select it right over here. So now I'm going to convert my IST to UTC right here. So as the webinar that is starting from 10, so I'm going to select the time over here as 10 a.m. So this is the time, which is equal to 4:30 a.m. in UTC time zone format. Okay, so firstly I'm going to copy the same format from here, paste it right here. The date is going to be 1st of Feb 2025 and the timing is going to be 4:30. Okay, so this is the from time, and the to time is going to be, I'm going to paste the same format right here. To time is going to be 1st Feb 2025, and as this is 4:30, as the webinar is for 1 hour, so what is it going to be? It's going to be 5:30 right here. Okay, so this is the from time and the to time right here. Now I'm going to click on this connect to GoToWebinar button right here. As I've done that, you can see I've successfully authorized GoToWebinar to Pabbly Connect. After authorizing over here, it is asking for us to select a webinar. So I've created a webinar in the name of Unlock Your Potential Strategies for Personal and Professional Growth. So over here, this is the webinar that I've created. I'm going to select it from the drop down. After that, it is asking for the registrant's details like the first name, last name, email, address, city, state, zip code, country, and phone. So for the data of these fields, what we are going to do is we are going to map the data. Mapping means inserting data from the previous step. So we're going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow. And how mapping works is that as soon as I'm going to click on this field, this was the previous response you can see right here. As I'm going to click on it, you can see this is the same response that was captured in our previous step. It is asking for a registrant's first name, as I want to create this participant who have done the payment using Cashfree as a registrant in my GoToWebinar account. So for the data of this field of the first name, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the data of the first name from my previous response. So it is asking for the first name right over here, and the response we have received the full name of our participant you can see right here. But I want the first name separated from my last name right here. I want both the values separated. So now in order to do that, we're going to add another action step to this workflow, in which from action application over here, I'm going to select it as text formatter by Pabbly, and action event is going to be split text. Then I'm going to click on this connect button. For the text to split, I'm going to select the name that I want to split, that is the first name and the last name. So I'm going to select this. As I selected the data from my previous response, the data is mapped, and as I have mapped the data has now become dynamic. That means now whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the new data is going to be updated in place of this mapped data. As for the separator, I'm going to use the separator, the space between these two, first name and last name. So if you want to use the space as separator, you have to use this code right here. So I'm going to copy it from here and paste the separator code right here. I want to segment, I want both the details. I'm going to select as all, and then I'm going to click on the save and send test request button. As I've done that, you can see first name has been separated from the last name. So now what I'm going to do is for the first name value, I'm going to map the data of the first name value result right here and the last name. After that, for the email, I'm going to map the data of the email that I've received right here. Next, it is asking for the address, which I do not have, so I'm going to skip the part. For the city, over here, I've received the data of the city right here. I'm going to map the data. State is going to be Madhya Pradesh, so I'm going to map the data right here. After that, it is asking for the zip code and country, which I do not have, so I'm going to skip the part. For the phone number, we have received the mobile number right here, so I'm going to map the data of the mobile number. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on this Save and Send Test Request button right here. As I've done that, we have received a response in which we have received the registrant key, which is a positive response. So now I'm going to open my GoToWebinar account. So this is my webinar that I'm hosting. If I'm going to scroll down, it says registration. I'm going to click on it. If I'm going to scroll down, you can see total registrants come over here as 2. I'm going to click on it. And you can see over here a new registrant has been created in the name of Smart Customer. Email us smart@pabblytudes.com. As now the registrant has been successfully created in my GoToWebinar account. This means that we successfully created an automation between Cashfree and GoToWebinar with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up till now what we have done. Over here for the trigger, I've selected as Cashfree payment via form, as whenever by any of the participants, they are going to enroll in any of the webinars that I'm hosting and they're going to do the payment using Cashfree. Automatically over here the trigger is going to capture the response of that, and using the response of my participant, a registrant is automatically been created in my GoToWebinar account. As with the help of it, I'm managing all my webinars, and using Pabbly Connect, I have built this connection between these two applications in this manner. So this was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Not just with these applications, you can create automation between multiple other applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. If you have any questions, you can contact us on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can check the queries on forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video.